What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, this is gonna be interesting. Making their debut on the channel tonight, we have the one, the only, Limp Bizkit. Yes, indeed, how about that? Limp Bizkit making their debut on the channel.
Wow, man, freaked out!
Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity boobity bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Sasha Van Hammeren. And Sasha wanted to see me react to this song by Limp Bizkit called The Truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth!
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was posted by Juan Martin Gimenez. I kid you not, with a G, not a J. Yeah, Juan Martin Gimenez with a G. Check it out for yourself. We'll go to the link in the video description. Go click on the link and see if I'm not kidding about that. And the video has 204,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. A link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. 02. I guess that's the second track of the album. Limp Bizkit, The Truth. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
On the left ear. There we go. Now I can hear it right. On those 16s on the open D. Chunky. I'm just curious. I think I got the bass line down already. Okay. So they're tuned down. I'm gonna play it in D. That's probably what they're playing it in. They probably tuned down a half step. Something like that. Let me see if I can play along with it. Let me see if I can catch it.
be obsessed with falling too deep. You're malfunction, you're a virus whose intention is fucking up something. You're a crater on the face of a problem much greater. It's the violence or lack thereof control, body and soul digging a hole. Is the blood stainless? Enjoy the pain with accepting your grief. Are you finished? Don't fucking question. Don't let yourself fall asleep. Resurrect the intention. Once your vision is now mass produced, imagine the insults a blessing. Imagine accepting the truth. Imagine accepting the truth. Imagine accepting the truth. Imagine accepting the truth. Just imagine accepting the truth. Imagine accepting the truth. The pendulum swinging. Hypnosis is.
I really don't. Okay. I really don't know that much about Limp Bizkit. I really don't. I know because I've heard in the music industry that they're kind of polarizing. And the thing is, it's not even really the band. It's the lead vocalist, Fred Durst. I've heard he's a very polarizing character. I've heard he can be very off-putting. He can rub people the wrong way a lot. I know that they had a lot of success in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. I know they had a ton of success during the whole, rap rock crossover band eras where you had a whole bunch of bands doing it. You had Linkin Park, you had Limp Bizkit, you had, how many other bands had that type of approach? I mean, there were a lot of bands. Okay, a lot of bands may not necessarily have been formed around that ideal, but every band had at least one or two songs that followed that kind of format. Korn did, Disturbed did. You got Rage Against the Machine. Now, speaking of, if you were to take Fred Durst's vocals out and put Zach's voice in here, it would fit. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that the song sounds exactly like a Rage Against the Machine song, but I'm hearing a lot of similarities. The guitars with the guitar, singular guitar, with the different approaches in playing within the same phrase. So going up on the neck, down to the chunking, down to the chunking, up on the neck, down to the chunking, down to the chunking, all within the same phrase. Kind of like what Tom Morello does. Now, Tom Morello does it a lot cleaner, I think, but it's still kind of the same approach. The drum feel, the bass and the drum locking in, and the pattern that they're coming up with, the feel they're coming up with, kind of has that Rage Against the Machine groove style. So, I'm not saying that it sounds exactly like a Rage Against the Machine song. I'm just saying it has similar qualities. It feels good for the most part. It sounds good for the most part. I don't know. Something about it just is not sticking well with me. I don't know what it is. I wish I knew. I wish I knew what it was that's not sticking with me. The bass line's cool. It's the bass line is not okay. What? Because remember, a lot of it is open D. It's all based on that open D. Now, granted, he's detuning. Okay, he's tuning down a half step. So his open D is actually D flat. It's actually C sharp. Okay, but a lot of it a lot of it is going around that open D, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm willing to bet he's probably playing up on the octave. That might make it even easier playing it up on the 12th fret rather than playing on the 7th fret like I was doing. I should try it on the 12th fret. I'll do that later. I'll bet that would make it even easier because I'm willing to bet that's how he's playing it. But in any case, I mean, the groove is nice. It's a solid groove. I don't know. Something about this is just not sticking with me, though. I don't know what it is. I'm looking at the song, like, instrumentally. I'm looking at what the guitar player is doing. I'm listening to what the bass player is doing. I'm listening to what the drummer's doing. It all lines up. It all fits. It all sounds good as individual parts. But when you bring them together, it just, I don't know. It's just, something's not sitting well with me. I honest to God, I don't know what it is. Anyway, let's get back into this. Maybe I'll figure it out.
Imagine accepting the truth.
Maybe it's the bleed over.
The pendulum swinging, hypnosis is taking control. Now you linger on a shadow of doubt. Have you really figured what you're all about? Don't trust your instincts. Just open the chamber where you keep those darkest regrets. All the things you've done wrong. Rebellious at heart all along. Is your leader a voice? Somehow you replaced all your gain with a debt. Now the payback's a bitch. Why owe your life to a bitch? Absolutely pathetic. And regret it when told you are made of mistakes. Imagine that insult's a blessing. Imagine accepting the truth. 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 Now speak to your leader. Now speak to your leader. Your Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Deliver us from evil. Deliver us from evil. Your Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Deliver us from evil. Deliver us from evil. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be.
What the hell's going on tonight?
I'm not saying this from a religion standpoint. Yeah, I'm not gonna attack any religion. I'm just using this as an overusage. Number one, I have heard so many bands take, and I know what that is. That's the Lord's Prayer. I know what that is. Okay, I'm not that dumb. But I've heard so many bands take the Lord's Prayer and use it in their songs to the point where it's almost comedic. It's old hat, man, at this point. I mean, the first few times I heard, I was like, oh, that's kind of edgy. That's kind of cool. All right, I see what they're doing there. But now it's like every band does it. And it's like, yeah, you gotta be kidding me. Here's another one, you know?
Another one.
Not only that, but when most bands use it, they'll use it once. And they'll take a phrase, they'll put it in one part of their song, and that's the end of it. He keeps going back to it, and back to it, and back to it. He said it like, I don't know how many times he said that. He's done it, and it's not even the whole thing. He's only doing like the first few lines, and then he repeats, and then he goes back and does it again. The next few lines, repeat, going back and do it again. It's like, dude.
Another one.
Is there anything else? I mean, seriously, is there anything else you could do?
Another one.
Maybe use the rest of it. You know, don't just keep using the same, first three lines over and over and over again.
Another one.
I don't know. To me, it just sounds, number one, it sounds stale because, like I said, how many other bands have used it? It's nothing new. It's nothing fresh. It's nothing, eye-opening. It's like, oh, great, another band that does it. And then on top of it, he's only taking the first couple lines and reusing. And it's like, dude.
Another one.
Seriously, what else have you got?
Allosaurus had never seen such bullshit before.
I'm not a fan of that. I think I know. I'm not 100% sure. but I think I know what it is about the song that's not gelling with me. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Let's finish this out, and I'll talk about it in the review. Let's get to that.
Thy name, deliver me from evil. Deliver me from evil. Oh, Father,
Oh my God, man.
hallowed be thy name. Deliver me from evil. Deliver me from evil. Imagine accepting this truth. Imagine accepting the truth.
Hamming on those keys, I love that.
Imagine accepting the truth. Imagine accepting the truth. Imagine accepting the truth.
There were some good things. There were some really good things. And then there were some things that I wasn't totally thrilled about. So this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to go, honestly. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Limp Bizkit with The Truth. This was a request from Sasha Van Hammeren. Yeah, okay, so the name of the song is The Truth. Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty appropriate for the channel because when it comes to my review, I'm going to be telling you the truth, and I'm going to be telling you exactly what I think of this.
And that, my friends, is called integrity.
The score might surprise some people, actually, believe it or not. But I have my reasons. I promise you, I have my reasons, and I will give you all of my reasons as to why I'm giving it the score I'm giving it. I promise, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.4. Yep, 7.4. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
There were things about the song that I really enjoyed. And then there were some things about the song that I was just absolutely not a fan of. And then there were some things about the song that I was just, honestly, I was indifferent about. Let's start with the good things. Let's start with the stuff that I thought was really good. First and foremost, the thing that sticks out to me, that bass line. Now, the bass line itself, if I'm not mistaken, he's probably playing up on the 12th fret on the open D, and everything's moving around that open D. The octaves on the 12th fret, you know, and you go up to the minor third on the, let me see, it'd be on the 10th fret above on the G string. You know, it's all moving around that 12th fret. All the movement's happening in there on that main riff. Then it goes into the actual main riff of the song where he locks in with the guitar and the drums, where it's going to take a lot more of a chunky approach. Well, that's all on the open D, probably an octave down, still playing around with the 3rd fret in the open string. And then when he gets to that, they get to the, it's all open D again. Or if he may be detuned down to an open D on the E string. He may have the E string detuned down to open D. He could be hammering on that as well to get a nice big fuller sound. I like it. The riff is really not that difficult, but at the same time, boy, is it effective. It sounded really good, and it helped push the song along. One of the main selling points of the song, in my opinion. The drumming on this, I like the groove that the drummer came up with. I like the feel that the drummer came up with. I got no issue with anything the drummer did. He and the bass player were locked in tight, and I really liked that. The guitar playing. I appreciate the guitar approach with the chunking. I like it. I like the fact that he was doing it, but it was very wet. It all comes down to the guitar tone. The guitar tone being really thick, really crunchy. Maybe, I hate saying this, but it was a little overly crunchy for the subdivisions that he was doing. As a result, it did bleed over from note to note to note to note, chord to chord to chord to chord. It did bleed over. A little, maybe cut back a little bit on the reverb, maybe cut back a little bit on the crunch, maybe add a little more bite to the distortion, possibly. Take out some of the mids, wouldn't hurt possibly. But it was just, it did, when he would chunk, it wasn't super tight. Not from a playing standpoint. His playing, his accents, they were tight, but the tone would bleed over, and it just, man, it felt, as a result, it felt a little loose and it felt a little sloppy. Not his playing. His playing was on point. His picking was on point. But unfortunately, the tone made it sound sloppy. So, which is a real shame because I could hear that he was playing tight. But unfortunately, the finished product shows otherwise. Well, it doesn't show otherwise, but it sounds otherwise, which is a real shame because, like I said, I can hear his accents and they were clean. Vocally, not a fan. A lot of breaths, a lot of empty space in between his phrasings and in between his delivery. His meter, very loose, very stripped down. Okay, I can equivalent it to this. It sounds like William Shatner giving a monologue. There was a lot of gap, a lot of spacing. Now listen, I understand that's his style. A lot of people will tell me in the comments, well, that's just how he does things. I get it. I understand it. Will I ever be a fan of it? No, I'll never be a fan of that style, probably. It felt like there was too much dead air. So I wasn't the biggest fan of his vocals. And on top of it, going back to that one section towards the end where he kept using those 3 lines, it was just 3 lines from the Lord's Prayer over and over and over and over again. Listen, the Lord's Prayer has been used in so many songs, I couldn't possibly keep count of how many times. It's old hat. Back in the 90s when it was first utilized, I remember who was the first, but I think it might have been Megadeth. I think heard to use it for the first time back on the Rust in Peace album. Possibly. I think that might have been it. I don't remember exactly, but I remember I heard it in the 90s, and subsequently a whole lot of other bands have used it. But here's the thing. They'll use it once, maybe twice through the course of the entire song, right? They used 3 lines of it for over a minute and a half straight. And it's just like, okay. And they kept coming back to it. And they kept coming back to it. And they kept coming back. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 3, line 3, line 3, line 3. Back to 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Back to 1 again. And it's like, okay, look, you do it once, fine. You do it twice, okay. After that, move along. Move along. No, I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the vocal work. So here I am, trying to balance this out. There were the things that I liked, there were the things I didn't like. And at the end of the day, and to top it all off, like I was saying, I made the comparison to Rage Against the Machine. This song, I swear to you, you could take Fred Durst's vocals out, put in Zach's voice, put his style of vocalization in this, and I guarantee you it would fit. It would absolutely fit. Does it sound exactly like Rage Against the Machine? No, it doesn't sound exactly like Rage Against the Machine, but the style, the approach, very similar in those regards. So anyway, I'm weighing the positives against the negatives, and in all honesty, the 7.4, it is a really good score. And I have to applaud it, and I have to applaud the effort being put forth by the bass player and the drummer. And I'm even going to include the guitar player in there because God bless him, he was doing a good job as far as playing accurately and playing with precision with his attacks. It's just poor guitar tone choice. Really that was one of the things I wasn't a big fan of was the guitar tone and the vocals. It just didn't do it for me. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with Limp Bizkit. I've heard a couple of their big hits, and the same thing can be said. Although I will say I think those songs were a little bit better written, a little bit better constructed, and they definitely sounded cleaner. especially in the guitar tone. So, I don't know, man. I like I said, I know there are probably people who love this song. You know what? I can see why. I can see the appeal for people to enjoy the song. There are some good things going for it. Just not going for me. It's just not my thing. So, anyway, 7.4. I do feel it is a really good song, and it does deserve a really good score. In this case, it's getting the 7.4. That's where we're at, and that's where we're going to stay. So, 7.4, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hopefully you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.